Wherever you are living in the world, the chances are that you might already be familiar with the story of Ramayana. Just like everybody, uh, like most other people, my sources for movies or short stories are the stories from my grandmother or mother. So, after reading the actual Ramayana, the translation of Valmiki Ramayana, I was surprised that like the percentage of the story I know, and also lot of other details about the story were very less. Like I might know probably 10% of the story, but the actual reading the book, original book, is more than the story we already know. So recently, couple of years back, I read the Gita Press Ramayana, um, like Ramayana. There are two volumes. What I found is like some of the notes I made like surprised me. Each and everybody will have a different take about the story, but I'm not gonna tell you the story in this talk. But the points that most surprised me, I want to like share with you. Probably that inspire you to read the book instead of getting the story from movies and short stories. So, this presentation is about the important notes, the way I understood from reading the root translation of the Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. My name is Karunakar Marsakatla. Today is May 25th, 2023. What I learned from the text is like we all know that like Sri Rama and Lakshmana are not separable. They always stay together. They went in exile to the forest together along with Mother Sita. But I didn't know that Bharata and Shatrughna were that close. So that's what I learned from text. Like they always were together, just like Sri Rama and Lakshmana. And another thing is we know that like Vishwamitra took away Sri Rama and Lakshmana to kill rakshasas. They're disturbing his yajna, and then later they goes to the Mithila kingdom, and then there they Sri Rama breaks the bow, and then wins the mother Sita, and then they get married. And I didn't know that like at the same time, the Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna will also got married. So they basically brings the Bharata and Shatrughna, and then Dasharatha comes from Ayodhya to Mithila, and then all four brothers. Um, Bharata, Sri Rama and Lakshmana marries the Janaka's daughters, Mother Sita and then Urmila, and then Bharata and Shatrughna marries the two daughters of Janaka's brother. He is also king from some other country. He also comes to the Mithila, and then the four brothers got married at the same time. So that I didn't know, and when it's like a whole book is like a common people, not like a god-like figures talking to each other, but it's very common people how they have the conversations they have. In like a, we see in everyday's household kind of thing. So the Dasharatha decided one day after the marriage, after a couple of years, Dasharatha decides to coronate Sri Rama as the prince of the Ayodhya. And then the reasons he gave, like they have a conversation, and then he says, like because he is the elder, definitely he will get the kingdom, and also is very capable of protecting the kingdom because he know all the use of all the astras. So, and also surprisingly, he tells that like Bharata was away at this time at his maternal uncle's place. He goes to Kaikeyi's um, Kaikeyi's parents' kingdom to stay there. Bharata and Shatrugna probably were there at that place, and then that's when yeah, both were there at their maternal uncle's place. And then that time he says like if Bharata is here was here, like he might object to making you as the prince, like uh, just the conflicts between both brothers. That's how Dasara says that he gives one of the Bharata being away as one of the reason to make Sri Rama as the prince. So that surprised me. Like Dasharatha saying that one of his sons will object to making Sri Rama as making Sri Rama as the prince of the Ayodhya. Is coming those words coming from Dasharatha's mouth was surprised me. So just like a common people, they had a discussion just before announcing Sri Rama's coronation. And after when Kaikeyi says like to send ask the Dasharatha to send Sri Rama to the forest, Lakshmana gets very mad, very angry, and you could see the discussion, the dialogues between Sri Rama and then Lakshmana, the ferociousness of the Lakshmana. He says like let's take our arms and then let's take over the country, and then let Dasaratha and then Kaikeyi let them go for a forest to spend 14 years instead of you. Let's take over the country, and then I'll protect you. Nobody will come, and so that ferocious was the Lakshmana. That I didn't know from movies and anything like the dialogues, the details is exemplary. And then when when Sri Rama goes away to the forest, Bharata comes back to Ayodhya, and then because he didn't see Sri Rama, and then his father was also died, and then lot of story happens. He goes to Sri Rama, and then try to convince him in the forest, but he convinces Bharata that he need to obey the father's words, and then Bharata comes back, and then he didn't live in the city. He went outside the city, a village called Nandigrama. He stayed in that city all the 14 years, and he even wore the like a bark, tree bark as his dress cloth, and then he wore the hair in a jatajutam, like means like he tied up the hair like a muni or rishi, just like how Sri Rama went to the forest. So that also I didn't know, like from reading the movies. It's a great. Um, it's almost similar to what Sri Rama did, Bharata did. Like even though Sri Rama spent in a forest, Bharata spent in a village in a similar manner. How Sri Rama spent in a forest, he spent the time. He didn't enjoy the kingdom. So that's what I didn't know from earlier. When Sri Rama crossing the river Ganga, in the most of the movies, like they showed like a boatsman helps Sri Rama, Mother Sita, and Lakshmana cross the river. They were shown him as a kind of some tribal person, but he was a king of Nishada kingdom, and one of the Samanta kings and four means like one of the subsidiary kingdoms of the Ayodhya kingdom. So that's what I came to know about it. And then in the same movie, after when they go into the forest, after Ravana carries away Mother Sita, then they were roaming the forest, and then one place they see the shrubbery. And in one of the Telugu movies, they portrayed her as a kind of tribal woman who doesn't know anything, but she was a Rishi or Muni probably, and she was just waiting to see Sri Rama before ending her life. So that surprised me. So why these movies and stories make so much alterations to the original story? We missed a lot of points from actual story. And while they were searching the forest, one of the one person carries away Lakshmana and then Sri Rama in hands, and then they cut his hands, and then that person got he basically had a curse, and then he becomes a Gandharva king or something, and then he tells where to go, which direction to go to look for the Sita. But his name was Kabanda. But even now in Telugu, Kabanda Hastal means like a strong grip. Whoever has a strong grip in their hands, them they call like Kabanda Hastalu in Telugu. That is in Aranyakanda of the Ramayana. I'm surprised to see like that proverb, that the synonym is continuing in a normal day-to-day talk of the language even after all these days. So that even not only that, lot of other proverbs also I see they're continuing from those days to even till nowadays, like a lot of people not using it, but in my until my childhood, I used to hear those words, whatever there in Ramayana. That was very interesting to see that concept. This we we can't imagine Sri Rama without Mother Sita, Lakshmana on the side, and then Hanuma on the in front. But how they met, like when they first like see each other, when in Kishkinda Kanda, I guess, um, they Sri Rama and Lakshmana goes in search of Mother Sita. They were traveling, and then when they enter the Kishkinda kingdom, that's where Sugreeva and then Hanuma were staying in one of the mountains because Vali chased them away. And then they saw Sugriva sends Hanuma to see who these two individuals are. And then Hanuma comes and he just sees the um, Purushottama, or like he was so mesmerized to see those two warriors, and then the dialogues between them is so mesmerizing to see when you like reading. Um, so that's one of the beautiful episodes. You need to really read it to see the beauty of that incident. And then normally we see when in a Indian marriage, Hindu marriage, like they go at some point of the time, they go around the fire, taking the oath. Like, but when Sri Rama and Sugriva taking the oath to help each other, Sri Rama Sugriva also needs help to kill Vali, and then so Sri Rama needs help from Sugriva to find out where the Mother Sita is. So, so both needs to help each other. That's when they take the oath, and at the same time to they go around the fire, just like everybody does in marriage. I kind of surprised. He means like when you have a like take a promise or give you a promise or take your oath. So I think anybody could go around the fire in those days, I guess. So not only in the marriage, but any not wife and husband, friends or anybody, if they are giving you a word, so to make it like this is the word in front of the Agni as making him as the witness. So they go around the fire. That surprised to learn from that kind of event from the book, and we see the some of the customs when Dasharatha passes away. Um, Rama was not there to cremate him, and Lakshmana was not there. Bharata, Shatrughna were away from Ayodhya in their maternal uncle's place. So to go there to send a messenger and then to bring them back, it will take a week. So within a week, his body going to decay. So they kept his body in a container and filled ghee. That's a Hindi word. It's a clarified butter. Butter, when you boil the butter, it will become gets clarified, and then that is called ghee. So they pour ghee in that container until the body is completely covered. So that probably protects the body without decaying. So that even that detail is also mentioned in the book. In one episode where the students from one ashram, they talk each other saying that like if you eat something, if you don't wash mouth, if they go into the forest to get the fruits and everything, whoever didn't wash the mouth, they get killed. The rakshasa selects them and then kills them. That surprised me to learn that like the reason probably could, like if you eat something, if you don't wash it, the food particles will stay in your mouth, and then when you see rakshasa, when you say some kind of mantra to protect yourself, you can't able to clearly say something when something is in your mouth. So that's why I think those days, even some family, like not everybody does that. Like most of them, like in olden days, as soon as they eat, they just wash the mouth and then take out all the food particles, leftover food particles from the mouth. And that's a custom, and then there's a reason also behind it. So that surprised me. And then even until my childhood days, if a guest comes to house, we give water to wash their hands, feet, and mouth, face, and then they will come inside. Until they wash the legs, they can't come inside. Nowadays, apartments are there, everybody wearing the shoes, and just people just walk in and out of the houses. But that custom was mentioned in the book. I'm surprised the custom is coming from as old as Ramayana. Um, and also when you look at the Sri Rama, like when things comes into mind, they immediately starts the work. Like there's no like let's plan it, let's think about it, let's do it sometime later. Uh, so when Hanuma goes to Lanka to find out the Mother Sita, uh, to whereabouts of Mother Sita, and then when he comes back and tells like Sri Rama, like he found her in the Ashokavana of the Sri Lanka. Um, then Rama was very happy, and then that's when he decides like let's forward to go for a war, and then that same day, that instant itself, um, they gather together, all the Vanarasena, and then Sri Rama and Lakshmana. Everybody starts towards the south to go to Lanka. So that kind of determination, that's how the people probably behaved in those days. Just do it as soon as if it is in right time. Just do it without any delay. And then what another one of the custom I saw in the because the text has very long conversations. So how the people used to end their conversation is they talk about a certain time, then they fell silent. Like when they're silent, then the other person assumes that he's done talking, and then other person will say his point of view. So that's how like a one-way talk is. Let's say, okay, I'm done. Then the other person starts talking after that, like that. There's no interruption of one interrupting another while they are talking. So that kind of situation is there, not there. So that's basically one says whatever he wants to say, and then he fell silent, and then other will express their opinion. So that's how the discussions went in the entire book. And then another thing is like if you are a king, if somebody comes in front of you and challenges you, you are supposed to fight. If you can't fight, if you can't give him a fight, it means like you lost the war. So that's how the kingdoms and then the kings used to behave, I guess. So there are the two instances where I saw this thing is like Lakshmana, when Indrajit was Ravana's son. Indrajit was doing some agnya. Lakshmana goes and says, um, "Give me a fight," and then it's like then right there, the Indrajit comes up, and then they both fight, and then he kills the Indrajit at that time. And then another place I saw that was Shatrughna goes to I think king from Madura, and then he finds him outside the city, and then says, "Give me a fight." That's it. Like that's how the kings used to fight. It seems like they go to a king, um, like give me a fight, and then they are supposed to start a fight, and then they go fight, and whoever wins, and they take the kingdom of the other person. That was like interesting to see, uh, like the concept of fight. That's how it looks like. So basically, the kings always used to carry the bow and then quiver with a bunch of arrows in them. So they are ready to fight outside the house. Like when they go out, that's why in one instance Lakshmana tells that like my bow is not in a kind of, I'm not wearing it as an ornament. It's supposed to be there to fight. So they looks like they carry this bow and quiver all the time. They're ready to fight. That's beautiful to see how these small details are there in the book. And then so the book is not just a story. No story is there, like everybody knows the story. Thinks they think that everybody knows the story, but it's more than a story. The dialogues are beautiful. The dialogues between Dasharatha and Sri Rama, just before asking him to become the prince of the kingdom, and then Sri Rama and his mother Kaushalya, how he tries to convince her that like to let him go into the forest, and then how she again argues like you can't leave mother behind. I'm old. Who will take care of me when you are away? Those dialogues are you need to read to understand how these the people at the time were thinking, what reasoning they are giving. They are giving a lot of shastras as the this like as a proof that like you have to take care of your parents and those kind of things. And then so another thing is the dialogue between Sri Rama and Mother Sita. Like Sri Rama says, "You stay here with Mother Kaushalya, and then she will take care. You can, she will take care of you, and then I will be come back after 14 years." But Mother Sita won't agree. Um, you need to see the dialogues between them. Everybody thinks Sita is a soft person, Mother Sita is a soft person, but those dialogues are beautiful. And then again, Sri Rama and the dialogues between Sri Rama and Lakshmana, um, like, and, or like, you need to when like he wants to come along with the Sri Rama. So those words are really very interesting to read. Sri Rama and Bharata. When Bharata goes to forest to convince Sri Rama to come back to Ayodhya, those dialogues you need to really read and then understand. Mm. And then there are many dialogues like this. Vali and then his wife, when Sugriva comes and challenges him to come out of the cave for the second time, and his wife tried to convince him that don't go, and he has some human friends. Two human friends are with looks like two human friends are with Sugriva. He has a reason to challenge, even though he is weaker than you. He's coming and challenging me. It's like he has other plans. Don't go for war. She tried to convince him. And then when Wali was pierced with the arrow, he was about to die. At that time, himself and then his son Angada has had a conversation that was also very interesting to see. Mm, so he says like, see, I'm not here, but Sugriva is going to be a king, but you need to be very obedient because he was the prince that time, and he could behave the way he want. But his dad is not, his father is not there anymore. And then you need to be obedient to King Sugriva. He says that like that's in another level. And then Hanuma and Jambaman and Angada, they go in search of the Mother Sita. They reach the southern border. They looked everywhere in southern part of the India. They couldn't able to find Mother Sita. Then they were like thinking of fasting until death. That's what they are thinking. I can't imagine like Hanuma thinking of those kind of words because they are unable to find Sita. So how they convince themselves to do otherwise or in such a manner is interesting to read. And Maricha, and then Ravana. When Ravana calls Marisha to become the golden lady and take Rama and Lakshmana away from that hut, that was his plan. So Maricha, when Ravana approaches Maricha to become a golden lady, Maricha tells Ravana, somebody who wants to kill you gave this idea. Don't do this because it's. I know how strong the Sri Rama is because he was kicked away. He survived in that fight with when Vishwamitra took away Sri Rama to protect his yajna. He is one of the surviving rakshasas. So you know how powerful the Sri Rama is. He tried to convince Ravana that like don't do this kind of thing, but he's a king. But the other subordinate Rakshasas needs to do whatever kings say. So he becomes a golden lady and gets killed by Sri Rama, and then that's when Rama takes away Sita. So those dialogues are really good. And Kumbhakarna, everybody knows, is a fat person. He sleeps off 6 months, and then he wakes up 6 months, and then he eats a lot of food, and that's it. But Kumbhakarna also, when Ravana wakes him up to fight in between the sleep, they wake him up. Then Kumbhakarna is also convinces Ravana that give away Sita, don't choose a fight with Sri Rama. And then Ravana didn't listen. So all these dialogues are worth reading. Um, so when I was kid in first grade, most probably first grade, that was in 1970s, we had a story like Rama, when Sri Rama was a small kid, his mother Kaushalya trying to feed him, but he won't eat. In the night, he was looking at the moon, and then he says he wants that moon, and then so mother Kausalya couldn't able to. Nobody can bring the moon, right? So but she got an idea. He gets the mirror, she gets the mirror, and then shows the moon in the mirror. Think that so I got a moon in here, and then Rama looks the moon in the mirror. He was happy, and then eats the food. So that story was there in first class, like a poem, I guess, in first or second class in the 1970s, Telugu book. Um, and then that was when I was reading the book, I was trying to find that incident, but I didn't find it anywhere. So I don't know if any of you who is watching this video knows the source of that story. Comment it. And another thing is in Telangana or Telugu speaking states, one uh, my mother used to say me that whenever I see the squirrels in India, they have a lines go parallel on the back. And then my mother used to say that this when Sri Rama was building the bridge between India and Sri Lanka, one squirrel was going into the ocean, wetting its body, and then rolling in the sand, and then coming into the where they are building the bridge, and then wiggle its body, and then all the sand will fall and then become part of the bridge. So it's going like that, and then Sri Rama saw that squirrel trying to do is like whatever it can uh, as part of the bridge, and then he liked it so much, and then took the squirrel into his hand, and then he kind of combed his on its back, and that's became the lines on the squirrel. That's how the story goes. And then I tried to see that story in the Ramayana, but I didn't find it. So the same way, don't know where the source is, but that was also not there in Ramayana. And in most places, I see people referring to Yoga Vasistam. This is almost like a similar to Bhagavad Gita from Mahabharata. So everybody knows that Bhagavad Gita is um, part of the Mahabharata. Just before starting the war, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna about the yoga principles, and then the responsibility of a warrior. How you need to fight. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. So that's the Bhagavad Gita. The similar case where Sri Rama once goes to pilgrimage all over India, there is a reference of him coming to Sri Sailam as well in one of the Telugu translations. Sri Giri was mentioned as Sri Sailam. So he came to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, that area once, even when he was young. So in that pilgrimage, after going back to Ayodhya, he was like not talking to anybody. He was some kind of secluded himself in some area, and then became so calm. So the Dasharatha was so concerned about him, and then he brought the Guru. Um, he brought the Guru Vasistha, and then asked him to talk to him to see, find out why he was like that. And then Rama tells something, but in return, Rishi Vasistha explains him the yoga, the responsibilities, and then how the life is. All these things he explains. I tried to find it in the Ramayana, but it's not there. So the Yoga Vasistam is a different book than altogether. It's a different book than Ramayana. So that happens. Looks like in front of when Vishwamitra comes to take the Sri Rama to protect his yajna. In that incident, so all this teachings happens. So that's a different book. You need to read that book as well. So that's also I'm right now currently reading that one. So this that instant when yoga was system, like mm, that is almost like similar to a king prince, and becoming like saying like it's not, I have nothing to do with this world. It's all there is a lot of sorrow, lot of suffering. I don't want this kingdom. That's what Rama tells. And then that's very similar to Buddha when he saw the suffering. He says that like I have nothing to do with this world, and then it goes away, and then tries to find the solution. Mm, but why I'm surprised, like that's also ancient time. Buddha lived in long time back. That time rishis, muni, or like gurus were there. Why they were, why there were no guru in that kingdom, the Buddha's kingdom, to teach him like all these yoga concepts. He would have stayed, and then uh, like the outcome could have been different. Instead of starting a going all by himself and doing tapas on his own, and finding that becoming a different religion, instead of everything is already there. Even before Buddha, the yoga was system was there. Probably every rishi, muni, every guru in a kingdom knows about this. And then why instead of reinventing the wheel kind of thing, finding out the yoga concepts, why didn't nobody thought of teaching Buddha the concept of yoga at that time? That kind of surprised me. So that outcome is, well, became different right now. So this is the missing. I learned a lot by reading the book, but in ancient days, like reading like Parayanam, they call it a Parayanam. So it's not like a one day thing, like it goes on for a week or 9 days, I guess. Even like as a storyteller, they keep on from morning to evening, they tell the story for some days until the story is completed. So at the end, like after in one of the in Telangana, my dad used to say when the reference of Ramayana comes about, like uneducated people, what they say after listening all the 9 days, entire story of Ramayana, this is what is there in that, like in Telugu, like it says like ఏముంది ఆ స్టోరీలో కట్టే కొట్టే తెచ్చే. So that's how it describes the story. What kate kote teche means, like kate means like constructing the bridge between India and Sri Lanka. They call Vardi. Katte, constructing the bridge, and Kotte means like a Sri Rama killing the Ramana is Kotte, and Teche means like so bringing back Mother Sita from Lanka back to Ayodhya. So that's how they describe. So when when somebody asks you do you know Ramayana? Like, yeah, I know Ramayana. Katte kotte teche. That's people used to say like that. Then it's why they wrote all these two volumes, like 30,000, or I don't know, maybe some 30,000 slokas. In Sanskrit slokas, they explained the entire story. So it's more than just kate kote teche. So there's you need to see the beauty. So the reasons what I say to read the Ramayana is it's a first complete story of human civilization. 20, 30,000 slokas long story of very, very minute details, how the people used to eat, how people used to behave, how people used to go about their day-to-day things. So those kind of minute details are also given in the book. And then the portrait of these characters are common people, like the dialogues we used to have in our own households between brothers and sisters, or brothers between brothers, and wife and husband. So the dialogues are very common. You will really appreciate when you read all those dialogues in the book. And then you will see what is dharma, like what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do. I think people needs to learn. This is you need to improve your life. I think so. By reading this, you learn a lot about behavior. That's one of the that's one of the reasons you should read the book. And then uh, and also like you will see a lot of description of the cities, how they built, how their roads are, the trees, the rivers of the time, the animals of the time, and then plants and the flowers and the lakes. So all this description is very, very interesting to read. So those are the reasons. Basically, I encourage everybody to read the actual translation of the root book of like Valmiki Ramayana, instead of watching movies and then just reading the short bit of stories, like a small story from here and a small story from there. They what they do is they rewrite in those writers' words, but not actual words from that story. So you miss lot of details. So one of the thing is like that the characters, even you take Lakshmana or Bharata, Sri Rama or Mother Sita, Hanuman, all these people from the first appearance of them, first mention of them in the story, till till the end of the book, the behavior is consistent. Like the knowledge they have, the way they behave. So each person will have some kind of tendency. Lakshmana, for example, is very angry. Then Rama is kind of depends on the time, like how he behaves. In the war, he will be like different. In conversations, he is like this. So, and about Mother Sita, and so these are the consistent description of these people you see in the text, and that's very interesting. So that's all about the story. I hope I encouraged you to read the actual book instead of just watching a movie. Um, all the best to you. Thank you.